What is up, guitar legends? Sam Wild here. We have a really nice fingerstyle song to learn today. Can't Help Falling in Love by Elvis Presley. This is a really good beginner fingerstyle song. It's not too complicated and it's nice and slow. So if you're new to fingerstyle, this is a great one to begin with. Now this song has an A-A-B-A structure. Alright, so all we have to do is learn the A section and then we learn the B section. Alright, there is a very tiny variation that I do on the last A section, but basically we just have two parts to learn. Alright, so let's start with this A section. This is the part we play the most. So as you can see here, we've got the tab, and I've also got some finger suggestions. You don't have to do what I do, guys, when it comes to the right hand. Alright, some of you might not be comfortable using your ring finger. Alright, but just so you know, the letter T means thumb. The letter R means ring finger, M is middle finger, I is index finger. Okay, so thumb, index, middle, ring. T, I, M, R. And if there was a pinky involved, which there isn't for this song, there would be a P for pinky. Now it's useful to know what chord shape you are using during this song whilst you're trying to pick through the correct notes. Don't just read the tab, also think about what chord you're on. Alright, so this first chord is going to be C major. So if you get this shape ready, then it makes it much easier to get straight into this. Alright, so as you can see, we've got the C major shape there. We have thumb and ring finger. And we're going to play the bass note and this top finger here on the B string at the same time. Then we have the G string with the middle finger. And then D string with the index finger. Alright, two at once, then two on their own. Okay, then we go back up, thumb, index, middle. Alright, so try and pause the video and just do this whole little phrase here. Now much of this song is going to be similar to this sort of pattern where we have sort of like an arpeggio. Okay, now the next shape we have is E minor. But be careful here, make sure you go to the correct shape. Right, we want to keep the middle finger in as we change to E minor. You see what I'm doing there? Middle finger stays where it is. Okay, and we add the first finger here for the E minor shape. But also we need this pinky on the E string third fret to get that top note. Because it goes, I smell. So that top note's the melody. Try and emphasize the melody note. So all you're doing is you pick in the melody note a little bit more firmly than the other supporting notes. Now as you can see, we actually have exactly the same pattern with our fingers. Alright, but now we're going to have to reach the ring finger down to the E string instead of the B string, alright? And the thumb has moved up from the A string to the E string. So just pause the video and practice these two bars first. Okay, then we move, we keep the middle finger where it is and we move into our A minor shape, alright? So always, if you can keep a finger down, don't take it off. Alright, everything wants to be as smooth as possible. So we have C, E minor, A minor. So the middle finger stayed there for the whole thing. So just look at the middle finger. Staying there, staying there. Once again for A minor, it's the same thing, same arpeggio. You can see the pattern is the same as that C major chord. Alright, for this fourth bar, we're going to keep our A minor shape. I don't have to change that. So we finish the third bar. Then we have thumb and ring finger. Alright, then we've got three more notes, so we're just going to play. Now the trick here is use your pinky to get that number 3 there on the B string. But the very last note, which is an E string, take the hand off because you want to get ready for the next chord. So you play the last note and you're moving to this F shape here. So this brings us on to the second bar, right? Now the second bar is fairly easy in terms of the right hand. We're still doing the same sort of pattern. We've got thumb and ring finger. We're going down, then up, down, then up, down, then up. Okay, so start with this F major shape. Right, you can add the third finger if you want, you will need it later, but for this tiny portion, you just need this shape. So I like to have the thumb in the bass. Okay, you can just use the third finger here, but it doesn't sound as bassy, right? The other thing you need to do is bar this first finger down, so it's actually covering two notes on the first fret here, B and E string, right? So you really have to squeeze it in. So what I do is I put my hand against the guitar and I'm almost like pulling it in, putting the hand towards. You can see my arm is supporting the side of the guitar here, so I'm always pulling them together to really get some extra squeeze on that finger. Okay, that really helps with this little shape here. Then we change to our C chord, much easier. Again, same pattern. Right, but you'll notice it's different to the very first bar on that first line. If you have a look, we were playing from the B string, right? But on this second line, it is the C chord, but we're playing from the E string. Third bar, we have our G shape, but a lot of you might know G major like this, okay? But we are going to have to play it like this, alright, with our third finger in the bass, second finger here, and fourth finger is covering the melody note here on the B string. And you'll notice that we have to kind of, to avoid playing the same melody note, we have to move down. Okay, so our third bar, second half of that, we have, you can see I put T, T, I, right? So the thumb has to move down. Then we have index finger. Then middle finger and thumb to get into the fourth bar there. So just work on that third bar. If I was you, I'd work on that. Because it feels a little strange to move down with the thumb. Okay, now this fourth bar, it looks a little strange, but all we're doing is so just work on this fourth bar as well. So you can leave the middle finger where it is. So it's the same two notes, just kind of split up with a different rhythm. Together, bass, middle, next bar. Together, bass, middle, together. Alright, on to the third line. Alright, now this line is a little tricky because we don't have our regular right hand pattern that we've been doing for most of the song so far. We have to kind of vary it a little bit just because of the way the melody moves. Alright, so we have our F major shape. Okay, have a look at the diagram. This is how I play it here. And we're going to do thumb and middle finger. Okay, so instead of using our ring finger like pretty much every other line, we're going to have to use our middle finger, which means we have a different pattern. Do a middle index ring this time. Alright. The second half though, we do ring middle index. Okay, we just go down. But this first part, middle index ring. Okay, so just bear that in mind. Sometimes you have to change the position of your three fingers. So they're starting up here, then they're hopping down a string, right? Okay, then we go to our G shape, but all you have to do is add the third finger to the bass, alright, because we're going to have like a G6 chord, so we don't need any other fingers for this little bit. Now this one's strange because we do ring, index, middle. But we do B string, then E string. Like that. Then we have A minor, so as you can see this is the same as the first line, it's just a regular arpeggio shape, right? Then to finish this third line, we're going to have an F sus shape. Alright, now this is, the difficult part is not playing this bar, okay, the difficult part is changing from A minor to this weird shape we're going to have here. Okay, but first just try and play the bar on its own before we worry about the change. Okay, so you're going to need your thumb covering the bass note, okay, then we have pinky on the B string 3rd fret, and third finger on the D string 3rd fret. So it's quite a strange little shape there. We use the ring finger for those top notes, and I use the index finger for the D string. Dun 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 dun. Okay, so just work on that bar on its own. When that feels comfortable, now you have to try and do the change. So play the A minor bar, the 3rd bar, and then try and go into this 4th bar. Now you'll notice that it feels odd. So the best thing to do is start with the thumb and the pinky when you've changed to the F sus shape, then add the 3rd finger. Okay, so start with thumb and pinky, then add the 3rd finger, like this. You can see I just brought it down at the last second there. The reason I say that is because you can kind of have your thumb and pinky ready from the A minor shape, but the 3rd finger's down, so you need to leave it there till the last second, right? For those of you that want to take your playing to the next level, make sure you sign up to my premium membership website. You'll gain access to all my backing tracks, all of my lessons, and I'll teach you how to improvise, solo, and play advanced chords. Enjoy the rest of your lesson, guys. Alright, we're on to the final line of this A section, so you've learned a big portion of this song now, guys. And guess what, this final line is actually really easy. So we're going to have our C major shape. Okay, just the same thing that we had on line 2. And then we have our G shape again. Same arpeggio shape going on here. And then back to C. Okay, so just bear in mind that first C major we have the A and E string, then G, and then C on the A and B string. So pause the video, have a go at this whole thing now. Alright, this is going to take a lot of practice. You have to play it really slowly again and again and again and again. Alright, it does take a while, so just be patient with yourself. You can't just play this straight away like that. Now, once we finish this A section, it happens again. So we just do exactly the same thing again. Alright, even the end of the song, it is the same thing. Okay, but to finish the song, I do one tiny variation that you guys might like to do. So the variation, if you look very closely here, you can see in the 3rd line on the 4th bar, I've changed it ever so slightly. So we get this. So instead of falling in, I've changed it to falling in love. Just sounds really nice, I think. Alright, so the way to do this, we just have this same shape for F sus. Thumb is here, the 3rd finger is still here like we did before. But now we have the open B, and then the top note here as well with the pinky, right? Doing in love. So just bear that in mind if you want to change this little bar. Okay, for the very last A section, it just adds a little bit of colour there, makes it sound really nice. Adds a bit of variation, right? And then we just finish the song as we did before with the A section. Alright guys, well done for getting this far. You've learned most of the song now because you've got the A sections down. We just have this B section to finish. Alright, it's a very short part of the song. So have a look at the tab. It looks like we've got 10 bars here, right? But we don't. We only have 6 to learn. Right? Because the first 2 bars, if you look closely, they repeat. So we have 2 bars, then repeat them for 2 bars, repeat them for 2 bars, and then we have this turnaround for the last 4 bars, okay? In terms of the chords, we have E minor, B7, E minor. Make sure you use finger 2 and 3, so it's easier to then change to B7. And then the last 4 bars is like a turnaround, a jazz turnaround. We do E minor, A7, then a sort of a D minor 9, and then a nice sort of G13 there. So let's learn the little E minor B7 part, as this repeats 3 times. We'll get that done first. You can see I put the fingerings here because it's a very strange little section. the melody jumps about, which means the arpeggios jump about 2. Okay, so you really have to memorize this little section. So we start with thumb and index finger on an E minor chord. Alright, then we have to move them both down. Now you might be thinking, why don't you just use the other fingers? You could do thumb and middle, and then first and third, if you want to. But personally, for me, it just feels too like scrunched together on the thick strings to have all 4 fingers at the top. So I prefer to use thumb and index finger for this first half. Okay, so we have dun 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 dun. So you notice we have them on E and D, move them down, move them up again. Okay. Don't even worry about that top note yet, just try and get the thumb and index finger part. Then if you want, add the ring finger, B string. Alright, then we go to our B7 shape. Another strange little pattern here. We're going to do thumb and middle finger, okay, on the A and G string. Index finger is going to get that third note there that makes it major, alright. Ring finger on the B string. Okay, just do those first 3 notes. Now the ring finger jumps down from the B to the E string. And we just do ring, middle, index to finish. Alright. So just try this bar on its own. Alright, so when you've got bar 1 down and you've got bar 2 down, now we try and join them together. Okay, it's very fiddly. Okay, so just do it really slowly. Okay, it takes some repetition. You might have to keep glancing down at your fingers to do this part. That's why I say it's useful to memorize this tricky part. If you memorize it, you don't have to look at the screen at the tab. You can look down at your fingers, okay? So sometimes it just takes practice so that you can learn it off by heart, really. Alright, once you've got that down, as I said, you repeat it here, you repeat it again, then we have this turnaround. Some things are meant to be. Okay, now you might be wondering why I've got this weird D minor 9 shape. The problem is he's singing an F, so we want to play the F, right? But the D is in the bass. But if our finger's on that string, how are we going to play the D string? Well, don't forget, the D string can be played here. Yeah, that's the same note. So we can get his melody and the bass note at the same time if we play it like this. Okay, that's why I've gone for this. It actually sounds really nice, to be fair, but I was sort of forced to make it like this so we can get the bass note and the melody in the same place. So let's start with the E minor shape. Same as before, fingers 2 and 3. But this time we got thumb and middle finger, E and G string. We're going to alternate index with middle at the end there. Okay, then we're going to have to jump the third finger up, ring finger up to the E string and B string there. Now, don't be tempted to play these at the same time. Okay, at the end of this bar is thumb, then ring finger. Okay, just don't fall for that little temptation there. Right, now as you're playing the last 2 notes, get your left hand ready for the A7 shape. So watch how I get ready. Right, they're already just resting, sitting there above, so they can just pop straight down, right? Alright, now the second shape, we have the A7. Make sure you use finger 1 and finger 2 so we can change to the third chord easier. Okay, don't use finger 2 and 3, use fingers 1 and 2. Trust me. Okay, again we have thumb and ring finger. Sometimes I mess this part up and I play something bizarre with the right hand. I don't know why, but you're meant to play thumb and ring finger, middle, index, okay? Just have one for each string and it'll work. Now, make sure that last note's nice and short because we're gonna have to change suddenly to this other shape. You can hear I'm going ba-bum, keeping it nice and short, just so you have more time to change, basically. Now, when we get here, we're gonna have third finger and first finger ready, okay? So third finger is A5, first finger is D3. We do both at the same time. Thumb and index finger are plucking, right? Then we add the pinky to G5. So this bar's really nice. Just a little bit fiddly, right? You can do middle finger for that pinky note. Then we have to do thumb and ring finger, A and E string. Try really hard not to hit the B string, because if you do, it sounds a bit clashy, it doesn't work. Okay, so really try and make sure you don't get the B string. Okay, then we're gonna get the middle finger ready before we even do this, but we have to hop it over and then add the third finger as well to D string third fret. So from the shape, so don't worry about the third finger straight away, but just make sure the middle finger hops straight in position. Then you can add the third finger afterwards, right? Now I like to slow down on this last bar, just for some dramatic effect, right? It sounds really cool. And then we go into the last A section. That is everything, guys. As with all fingerstyle songs, you really need to be patient with yourself and just play it slowly again and again and again. You do one bar at a time, several times, and then you try and knit each bars together in sets of 2, sets of 3s, trying to get each line by line. Okay, it really does take some time before you can actually play along with me. But I have made a play along so you can try and play the whole song with me. Don't forget you can actually slow down the song by changing the YouTube setting if you want to try and play along slower with me. That might be a much better starting option. All right. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe as well. Get that notification bell icon turned on. All right. Good luck with the play along, guys. I'll see you in the next lesson. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.